All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez. We are back today on this Tuesday morning. No podcast yesterday. Got a family friend who runs a gym here, so I helped out some of the workout classes yesterday, and I was short on time in the morning, so I thought, should I do a podcast? Should I do social stuff? We got about an hour, a little over an hour to do this without me having to wake up at like 4 in the fucking morning, and I'm not doing that. So I was like, let's just make some social content, take a break from the podcast, come back today we're going to go breakdown today. We're going to have 2 social videos. So we got stuff coming today. It's a good day. But today, we haven't recapped the weekend and everything that's kind of happened. So we're going to talk about a couple things. Obviously, this weekend was mediocre on stuff. You had the Tommy Pham drama that honestly, that's what I'm going to break down today and we're going to talk a little bit about it. But that was a disaster. But first, what we have to talk about today is, once again, we have to talk about Blake Snell. And once again, lands on the injured list for the second time this year. And it's June 4th, right? And everyone is saying, like, dude's washed, dude's this, dude's that. Look, he already made the comment. People are going to shit on Blake Snell because he looks greedy in a sort of way, because he wanted a lot of money. He wanted the $200 to $300 million, which for a guy who just won the Cy Young is not. I don't think that's a big ask. I mean, honestly, just what I think. But even when you're going to ask for that, and then no one kind of sniffs that price range, and you got quite a few offers, and you pretty much either you turned it down or Boris turned it down. It doesn't look good to then sign like 2 weeks before the season starts for 62 for 1 year in San Francisco. It's very much, you got 62 and you're looking for 200 to 300 million. It doesn't look good. Number 1, 2. Then you just straight up don't perform well. Then it really looks bad, because then you're like, well, I was looking for all this money. You got a quarter of it, and you have landed on the injured list twice, have yet to pitch 5 innings. You have a 9.51 ERA. Yeah, that doesn't really back up your claims that you're worth $300 million. So if there was any chance of him getting it next year, now that's definitely not going to happen. He's pretty much got to resell himself again next in 2025 to maybe get a big chunk of change. I mean, that sounds facetious considering the man just made $62 million. I mean, that's ridiculous. But we're talking like big time money here, like Garrett Cole money, Aaron Judge money. Well, no one's going to get Aaron Judge money, or Ohtani money. But anyway, my point is here, and he's made the comment before, he's talked about it, how vital spring training is to these guys going into the season. Excuse, take it as an excuse, take it however you want. And if you haven't seen the press conference where he talks about it, just Google Blake Snell spring training. It'll pop up on Google or Twitter. Or honestly, stay away from Twitter, because that's turning into a whole different platform, if you ask me. But but yeah, he talked about it a little bit, and I think, like, it's true. It's very true. And I've said this before, how important spring training is. It's not just like, let's go out and play a bunch of games and just practice. No, like, these guys are getting ready for the full swing of playing against pro guys all year. And the difference between, like, pitching against whoever's available to you versus pitching to, major league guys, spring training, minor league guys, whoever, it's a monumental difference. And having those 2 to 3 months of work getting into getting into the nitty gritty of the season is vital. And he's talked about it. I didn't have shit. So I'm trying to figure this out as I'm going along. I'm getting it better and better. He did seem to be making more progress on those starts. I'm not going to lie. And let me pull it up real quick, because he did start making some progress on some of his starts. Not like monumental jumps where it went from like shit to like gold or anything like that. It wasn't like that, but he wasn't like, it wasn't that bad. So here we go. So on 5/22, he pitched 3.1, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks. Not good. Then on 5/27, 5 days later, came back, pitched 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. So his strikeouts are definitely rising. And then 6/2 in New York, he didn't pitch the full 5 innings. Obviously, 4.5, 4 and 2/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. So the strikeouts were there. The walks gonna have to lower, man. 3 walks is not good, but then the 5 hits, 3 runs, that's gonna eat you up, dude. So 9.51 ERA His whole line of stats for this year: 0-3, 9.51, 23.2 innings pitched, 31 strikeouts. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. But yeah, so point being here, and kind of wrapping up the thing on Blake Snell. It's not been good. It's not been good. Now he's out with another injury, another groin injury, which I think is the same issue he had prior. So, a positive note, if you're looking for a silver lining, if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Blake Snell fan listening, it's not arm issues. So that's a positive, because if it's an arm issue, that's like kind of the nail in the coffin type deal. I think if it's an arm issue, we're looking at groin issues. That's fixable. We can do this. But yeah, I think that something is going to have to change here. 1,000,000%. Like whether that's he's going to have to. I think that the whole thing of there's quite, and the thing was there was quite a few guys this year that didn't sign early to make it to spring training. Chapman, Snell, Montgomery, which Montgomery is having a shell of a year they did last year when he was to Texas and was just tearing it up. So yeah, there's some logic to I need spring training. I need it bad, because we're watching it with Blake Snell and the injury prevention, getting in shape and working out and doing everything. All of that plays a role. I mean, we're talking. This looks like it's not arm shape. It's physical body. Like my legs are not under me right now. So that's kind of what's going on with Blake Snell. Do I think it's career altering? No. I think 1 year, everyone's gonna have that year. Blake Snell's been nails, man. When he was at Tampa, he was nails. When he was at San Diego, he was still really good. So take it with a grain of salt, man. The only thing that I feel is like he's 31. Last year was the year he should have got something. I think Boris really fucked him. I think Boris really screwed him up. So it's going to be kind of tough for him. Age 30, 29 to 31 of the years, you get paid as a pitcher, because, by 35, 36, 37, it becomes very uncertain how effective you're truly going to be. So, getting a 10-year contract is going to be tough for him. Getting a long-term contract at this point is going to be really hard, because he's already 31. So you may get a 6-7 year deal, maybe an 8, but after that, I don't see a team signing him to a long-term deal. He's going to have to be fighting year after year for little pieces here and there. But, to each his own, man. Like I said, Blake Snell's still a great pitcher. He's still showing flashes of greatness. Had the immaculate inning, obviously, minor league start. But still, I mean, to throw an immaculate inning to anybody is impressive. So, hopefully nothing else sets back Mr. Snell, but, we're going to keep an eye on that. Speaking of injuries, and this is, I hate talking about injuries, but there's been some big ones. Yesterday, Kyle Tucker had to leave the game, fouled the ball off his shin. If Kyle Tucker has to miss time, that's going to be tough for the Astros. I mean, they're just now picking it up. Hold on, let me find fucking A, man. Kyle Tucker. I don't know who I typed in Kyle Tucker, but some fucking wacko popped up. I'm looking for I'm not looking for some weirdo actor that's been in 2 movies. I'm looking for King Tuck, bro. What the fuck? Okay. So actually, who's leading in home runs? I've been really following the stat leaders, because Kyle Tucker's been in the lead. I think he's still in the lead, if I'm not mistaken. Batting leaders, home runs. Oh, Aaron Judge took off with 21. Motherfucker, bro. Goddamn, Judge, easy. Kyle Tucker's at 19. Henderson at 19. So, I guess we got to talk about Aaron Judge now. We got to talk about Aaron Judge, because I mean, dude, the guy went from having a awful year. I mean, April was bad to Judge. Comes out, has a fucking an entire month. We're not talking like, oh, he had a couple weeks where he was on. No, this dude had a fucking month, bro. And we're looking at it, 21 bombs. Meant to talk about Kyle Tucker. We got to talk about Judge, man. Judge is just ripping it to pieces, man. Aaron Judge right now, and I guess we're gonna add a little because I have little points. We're gonna add a subtopic right above Kyle Tucker and the Astros. We're gonna talk about the Yankees, I guess, real quick. Between Judge, Soto, and really Volpe, like all of them are stroking, bro. They're just mashing right now. The Yankees are in a really, really good place. And then you got Cole, who had I think his first rehab assignment is set for today. I haven't seen news if that's still happening or not. Let me see. Because we've seen the progressions. Yep, first rehab start Tuesday. Nice. So what do we expect? What do we expect from Cole? It's going to be a very slow build. I think they rushed him a little bit. Trying to get my helmet stuff list. Keep checking boxes. Let's see. I'm just curious what everyone's kind of expecting. Oh man. Excuse me. Yeah, no one's really going to compare to the, I mean, he has been there. The thing with Cole and what makes him so special, and like a lot of people don't understand this, is that number one, he's elite. I mean, he throws in the mid to high 90s, 4-pitch guy, elite pitcher. Like, dude, he's a stud. And the thing is how durable he is. He doesn't, except for right now, I'm not on some wood, he doesn't get injured, man. He is durable. He plays all year from 2017, and except for 2020, he pitches, at least 30 starts every season. Like, he is worth the money the Yankees paid him, 320 something million. He is worth every fucking dollar, man. Except for this, like, this is just a setback, but I think this is one of his first setbacks in the big leagues ever. Like I said, since he was big in like 15, 16, when he started with Pittsburgh, then goes to Houston, then goes to New York. Like, he has made every start that he can. Even last year, he made every start. I think he pitched all year last year, and the Yankees were ass, and still went out there and fucking shoved every single time. So, say what you will about Garrett Cole, but the Yankees are rolling, and Garrett Cole's coming up. Has his first rehab start today. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. And if the Yankees get him back on top of the Luis Gil success, top of the Clark Schmidt, who went on the IL, he's not going to throw for a while, 4 to 6 weeks, they're saying. So that one's going to hurt a bit. But I mean, without Cole, and they're going to be without Schmidt, the starting pitching has been stupid. You got Rodon. Nestor Cortez has struggled a bit this year, but Rodon's really picked it up, especially from last year and that big signing. He picked it up. You got Stroman, who's pitching really well. Now you're going to have Schmidt come back, and hopefully, I'm thinking, they say 4 to 6. I'm thinking 6 to 8, just to be honest. Then you got Schmidt that comes back. Then you're going to have Cole in that rotation. Then your bullpen's going to be solid. You got Clay Holmes, who's pretty much a shut-the-door kind of guy. He's had 1 to 2 blown saves maybe. So the Yankees are in a good spot. But enough of the Yankees. We'll move the Yankees over. Back to Houston. So Kyle Tucker fouls a ball off his leg. A little worrisome. I saw the other thing. Urquidy, obviously the starting pitching for the Astros has been really tough. It's not been good. Verlander was hurt for a good chunk of the first part of the season. He's been kind of dismal, nothing, too crazy. I do know. Oh my God. This coffee's not kicking in. I'm so sorry, guys. But Urquidy needs Tommy John, so he's gone. They're going to get a second. I read they're going to get a second opinion, but I don't think that, you read an x-ray or read an MRI. You can't really argue with the results. You go get a second. You can go get a second opinion, guys, but if it's ripped, it's ripped. The UCL's gone. The UCL's gone. There's nothing that a second opinion is going to change about that. But hey, to each his own, right? So they lost Urquidy. Javier's still out. Melton's still out. Now Tucker is the one that everyone's a little bit worried about. He fouled the ball off his shin, high up his shin into the calf area, which, I mean, non-baseball players or ball players, if you've ever fouled a ball off your shin or off your foot, anything, that hurts. That does not feel good. Can only imagine doing it at these velocities. I don't know, man. But Tucker, man, hopefully he's not missing time. There hasn't been any updates at the moment. Let me see. There's something that says Tucker and injuries and moves, but I think they're just saying that he got hurt last night. Because I did hear about the MRI. They did do an MRI and an X-ray, negative, so he's good. But he was on crutches, which is very worrisome. On crutches, he's walking around. Espada doesn't think it's going to be anything serious, so we're hoping that it's not. But it looked bad. It looked really bad, guys. I'm not going to lie. Right above the shin protector. I'm worried. I'm wondering when, because it was a guy on my team on Sunday who did the same shit, and his calf looked like a fucking basketball. So I can only imagine, right? Like, when are we gonna make guards that like a catcher's leg guard at this point? Because you can't be falling balls off your leg like that, dude. Like, and it's right above the Evo shield, right above it when it happens, man. God. Oh well. Tough break for the Astros. But the bigger question, right? You got Tucker going, you got Bregman going earlier this, a couple of weeks ago. I talked about, the whole thing with Bregman. Are they going to trade Bregman? They're obviously not going to let go of Tucker. I mean, that's not going to happen. So Bregman is the big piece on the block. But the Astros, as early, and I'm a big guy. I listen to as many baseball podcasts as I can. Ben Verlander and Flippin' Bats is normally the first one that pops up. He's been screaming since day one to not worry about the Astros. I was one of the guys that was like, we need to fucking worry about the Astros. So completely different takes, completely different opinions. But in the back of my head, I always thought, like, yeah, I'm worried about them, but they're the fucking Astros and they're going to pull some shit. I've said, and you can find it. I've said it. They're going to pull some shit out their ass and be playoff contenders, at least up to the championship series like they do every year. I believe that to happen. The Astros are just a clutch team, man, no matter how you split it. So the question is, does management ride with this team? Because they are picking it up. They've started playing a lot better. Does management stick with these guys, or do they sell and kind of hope for next year and just kind of write this year off? Because they're slowly creeping back. I think they're like 7.5 games back. So they're slowly creeping into that run, into that wild card run. So there's a chance, like as bad as this season started, as bad as as bad as April, and at least half of May was. A lot of people were like, the Astros are done. They're trashed again. You had Diaz, who had to go to developmental leagues in Florida to figure out his swing, who came back and homered for the first time this past weekend. So big on that. That was solid. But I think there's still a lot of growth that needs to happen. And I think management's going to have to look at a lot of pieces to say, hey, are we gonna bet on our guys? Are we gonna bet on this group of guys, who is a group of guys who have done and been successful for you in the past, who may have just hit a rough mark, man? It happens, man. They're human beings. I know we talk about these guys like they're fucking machines, and they're here to just produce, but they are humans, man. They go through skids, so that's going to be a tough call for management. I don't really have an opinion on what they should do right now. If I'm me, I'm going with history. These guys have been good. They've played well together. They've demonstrated that over and over and over again. I say keep them together as much as possible. Work through these injuries. Urquidy's gone. Maybe make some pitching pickups before the deadline. But then that's where it comes in. Are we going to have to let go of some of these guys to get some more elite pitching? It's tough, man. There's a lot of moving parts to this, man. There's a lot of moving pieces. Do you get rid of a bunch of little pieces to get a big piece? Like, there's a lot of things that they're going to have to see before the trade deadline. I think we've got about a month, maybe a little less than a month before the deadline. So I'm expecting to start seeing some people fly all over the place. So it's going to be exciting. But right now, if I'm the GM of the Astros, I'm riding with these guys and letting history do its thing. They've been good. They've played good. Let them break out of this skid. They're already on the verge of breaking out of the skid. So let it happen, man. Let it eat. But on top of that, the Blue Jays, right? So the Blue Jays are another team that are in the same boat as the Astros. A lot of young talent. That's where they differ from the Astros. The Astros have a lot more vet guys, veteran guys. The Blue Jays are young. And the thing is that, the big three were Kevin Biggio, who came over, obviously Bichette and Guerrero, all three with big league dads. All three went to the Blue Jays. All three had pretty decent careers up to this point. I think Biggio, the lesser of the two. Or the lesser of the three. Bichette obviously makes some noise. Vlad obviously makes some noise on the cover of MLB The Show, home run derby champion. So Vlad, for better or worse, has done a lot of great things. Now, if you're the Blue Jays, again, you've only had these guys for 3 to 4 years. Do you develop them? Do you keep them around? Do you sell and build a bigger team for 2025, 26? Because this is the point, guys. And like I said, this is going to be the point where teams are going to have to start making decisions like, okay, here's what we've seen so far this year. Here's where we are, here we're at, and then obviously you look forward. Here's where we would like to be, and you look at all the pieces, and you're like, okay, I have we got Barrios, Gausman's down, Bassett's been decent, but he hasn't been like elite. He hasn't filled in the role of Gausman at all. So we have a lot of pitching woes. We've got a lot of pieces that haven't been performing up to par. Bichette hasn't been hitting the ball as well. Vlad definitely hasn't been hitting the ball as well as he has in the past. Biggio's been struggling. So all three of these pieces, who are seen as high dollar pieces, do we let them go and build up again and try to go for a team like we had in 2015, 2016 with the one was a Stroman, Pilar, Donaldson? Do we try to build that dynasty type team again? Or do we stick with these guys and let them build it back up? That's a tough spot. If I'm and kind of different from the Astros, I think we sell, man. I think you get rid of those guys. I think not the guys. I mean, you're going to have to get rid of one or two, keep one or two. But I mean, I think Bichette's a big high dollar piece that you can get some good pieces for. Honestly, he's a young shortstop. He's got great glove work. He's shown promise multiple occasions. He's shown flashes of power. You can get a pretty buck for Bo Bichette. I think that they're going to trade Bo Bichette before the deadline. Honestly, I think that Biggio doesn't have a big enough price tag to let go, and the upside on him is still big. They're going to keep him for a while. And then Vlad, they're going to keep him just because it's flat and he's going to stay. They're not going to get rid of. I think the person that goes is Bichette, but we'll see, man. But that was a big piece. I've seen that trade on the other side of things, like how Bregman is kind of the big trading block for the Astros right now. If they were going to try to do that, go that route, Bregman's that piece. I think Bichette's that piece for Toronto. And I think that they're going to have to get some more pitching. I think they're going to have to get some more bats. But, time will tell on that one. Time will tell on that one. But yeah. Okay. So I kind of hinted on this a little bit or towards the end of the episode. I kind of hinted on it a little bit earlier when I first started the episode about this whole Tommy Pham thing. But I think we might just skip over that one. And I'm going to break it down and we're going to talk about the whole thing because the whole thing is really stupid. It's really dumb. And, from the sending Pham in the situation, he was thrown out by 20, 30 feet, dude. He was toast. I mean, enough time for Contreras to catch it and wait. Anytime a guy's waiting for you, you probably shouldn't have gone, or you got a terrible jump if it's a steal situation, what have you. It just looked bad. It wasn't good. And he got tossed. First of all, and like I'm going to break this down, he was running in the grass. And if you haven't seen the clip, go watch it. But he is coming home in the grass. It looks like he's looking for a fight. Honestly, he looks like he's looking to fight. And Tommy Pham scares me. That guy is very unhinged. It seems like he looks like Yasiel Puig, but a little bit toned down. I'm not no part of that, man. No part. Just play the fucking game, dude. Like, why are you trying to incite all this shit? Yes, Contreras was a little bit boastful when you got him out and kind of doing whatever he was with the glove. Him as well. Go back to the dugout. Game's over, bro. Like, what are we doing? But I'm going to break it down. We're going to talk about the whole thing because it warrants a breakdown with a lot of the different pieces we got going on. So, and then the air punches in the back. I did a small video on socials about it, but I want to break it down a little bit further. So we'll wait for that one. But the last piece on my list today, guys, is once again the Mets. And if the Mets have been in the news for quite some time, the last week and a half at least, last week, notably for the glove toss with Jorge Lopez and them absolutely failing him, I made a video going off of what most media was reporting that he said XYZ. I went through and made an update and said that, I think that's on the Mets for not giving him a translator and that whole thing getting screwed up and that translation just not aging well, I guess. And I haven't seen if Jorge Lopez has been picked up. I'm curious because I know they DFA'd him. Let me see if anything's happened with Jorge Lopez. I mean, everyone's really just, I don't know. Yeah, it was a bad situation. The whole look, and I'm reading it here, and obviously we're talking about the Jorge Lopez thing. I haven't really talked about it since. But the fact that the Mets didn't give him a translator or let him accurately depict how he was feeling, obviously, is what falls under the Mets. And at first, a lot of the scoring was towards Lopez and the actions. But, throwing the glove, obviously, is dramatic and probably shouldn't have done that. The post-game comments, had he had, and I've said this, man, had he had a translator, had he had someone there for him to help him talk and get those thoughts out, different story we have here. Still in trouble, but different story. But I think that the Mets, this is all on the Mets. It's Mets management. The way that they've been playing is kind of an accurate representation on how Cohen and all of that. The Mets are a mess right now, guys. And then to make matters worse, they just got jinxed again in the ninth inning. They're playing the Diamondbacks. I think they got swept by the Diamondbacks. If not, I think they played their last series yesterday. Let me see. No, so the Diamondbacks played. Okay, so hold on. The Mets. Let's see what the Mets have done. So the Mets played the Nats yesterday. Let's see. But before that, let's see schedule. Let's see. Because I know the Diamondbacks. the manager. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna make a video about it today. It's pretty funny. Just because, honestly, the Mets deserve all of this. The Mets are this is the best way that I view the Mets. And if you're a Mets fan, I'm sorry. If I offend you, I'm sorry. They're a fucking Walmart Yankee team that want to be the Yankees and will never be the Yankees. And they need to redefine themselves as something other than the fucking. They have a big enough budget to kind of ride on the coattails of the Yankees and try to get talent like the Yankees. But let's be honest, they don't have the winning aura. They don't have any of that to really even encompass what the Yankees fucking are. But yeah, they lost. I think they lost all of them to the Mets. They won Thursday. On Friday night, they won 10-9 against them, and then dropped the next two, 5-10, and then 4-5. They lost that one in in the ninth inning when Marte hit the home run to pretty much give them the lead, and then they didn't come back. So I mean, guys, the Mets are a problem, and it's not just the Jorge Lopez thing. I think the Jorge Lopez thing encompasses how players feel, whether they wanted to admit it or not. You saw the way that they looked in the dugout when the whole thing was happening. They're just not happy. They're not playing well. Obviously, baseball's not fun when you're on a skid. It's not fun. The vibes are down, but like the vibes just always seem down in Queens over there. I don't know, man. It's just all the talent in the world over and over, historically paying guys, but piece by piece getting guys. They've got Lindor, Alonso, all these guys. Why can they not win? There's something. There's either a black cloud. Can't do it. I don't know what it is, guys, but there is some reason why the Mets cannot win ball games, and I don't know what it is. I don't know, but I really think as an organization, I see them, and I view it as a business, right? I view it as a business, right? You're in the world, you're a business, and you're the New York Mets, and then there's the New York Yankees. I really feel like Steve Cohen wants to be the fucking Yankees, and they're never going to be. Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem. You have to redefine yourselves as an organization, as a club. Be something else. You're not the fucking Yankees. Quit trying to be the fucking Yankees. You're not. And I think once that kind of kicks in, because they spend like they're trying to be the Yankees without the cohesiveness that the Yankees have already as a club. There's so many moving pieces on the Mets. I can't keep track. Besides Alonso and Lindor the last couple of years, the pieces moving all over the place, or mediocre pieces playing in big key roles. Like the Yankees have a vibe, a cohesiveness, a unit that the Mets have never had. And in 2015, they had that unit with Harvey and all those guys. They had a really great team, and then injuries, trades, all that happened. That's fine. That's part of the game. But they never came back from that. They haven't even sniffed that. And that was almost 10 years ago. The Yankees about 14 years ago, when they won the World Series in 2009, that team no longer existed after that, and they went to shit. And then 17, 18, 19, but they started building that unit and some solid foundations that the Mets just cannot come up with. They cannot get that solid foundation and build on the foundation because there's so many just pieces moving everywhere all the time. Let's buy big guy. Let's buy big guy after big guy and put him in this piece, and it just doesn't fit over and over and over again. And until the Mets, I'm frustrated because the Mets could have so much potential and be such a great ball club that this is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And it's management. It's management in the way the team is run. And until that's changed, the Mets will continue to be the laughing stock of New York as they are right now. So if you're a Mets fan, I'm sorry I ended it on that, but I had to talk about it. They're being really shit on about the whole thing with Jorge Lopez, and everyone's saying it's his fault. It's not his fault. Had he had someone there to truly help him explain how he feels, I can only imagine. Like, you're trying to talk in English, and you have so much emotion and how you're feeling about playing here and doing this and how today went, and you can't because you're hit by this language barrier, and your team doesn't give a fuck to send you a translator. Is shitty. It's shitty all the way around. So Mets got to change your ways, man. Got to change your ways. But thanks for listening, everybody. We'll have another episode tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to do a breakdown here in a little bit. We'll have that up. We'll have some short form content. So be sure to follow us. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you haven't followed us, follow, subscribe on YouTube. Go ahead and do that, man. We got a lot of content coming. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting day, guys. We got Garrett Cole. It's a great day of baseball. So be sure to check it out. Obviously, College World Series is about to come on. Probably I think it's this weekend, right? So that's interesting as well. So that'll be fun to watch. So keep your eyes out for that. But again, guys, thanks for listening. I love doing this. We're going to have a lot more content, a lot more stuff coming. So we will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening, guys.